Hello, and a very warm welcome to you. Today we're going to jump into a short but honestly incredibly powerful passage from the 19th chapter of the Quran, Surah Maryam. We're going to look at just 5 verses that do so much. They diagnose a deep spiritual problem, they offer a powerful way to respond, and they describe this ultimate cosmic reckoning. So, let's dive in.
Peace, and welcome to all of you. Really, my hope here is just to explore this text together, you and I, and to really try and unpack its structure and its deep meaning in a way that makes sense. So, to get us started, just think about this for a second. We've all seen this, right? Someone makes a mistake or gets an idea in their head, and instead of correcting course, they just seem to double down. They get more and more entrenched. Well, this passage offers a fascinating look into the spiritual mechanics of why that might happen. Okay, so first up, let's look at the diagnosis. The Quran kicks things off by identifying the force that drives this whole downward spiral, what we're calling the relentless urge.
The very first verse just lays it all out. It talks about these devils, or shuyutin, being sent upon those who are stuck in their disbelief. But you gotta check out that final phrase, inciting them with constant incitement. See, this isn't about a single temptation that comes and goes. This is something way more persistent.
And when you dig into the original Arabic here, wow, it is so powerful. That phrase, tu'azzuhum azza, it doesn't just mean to whisper or to suggest, it carries this feeling of a constant, agitating push. Imagine just being relentlessly prodded and urged forward down a wrong path. That's the intense feeling this term is getting out.
So, and this is absolutely crucial, this isn't about some kind of horror movie possession where someone has no control. No, the verse is describing a divine system where once a person chooses a path of denial, other forces are allowed to basically turn up the volume on that choice. It becomes this feedback loop, Their own negative inclinations get fueled by temptations and social pressures, and it just pushes them deeper and deeper into that error.
So, if that's the diagnosis of the problem, what's the prescription? What are you supposed to do when you see this happening? Well, the Quran's answer is all about trusting in the divine timetable.
The instruction is so incredibly direct and simple, so do not be impatient for them. When you see this cycle of error playing out, our human reaction is usually frustration, right? We want to see some kind of immediate consequence, but the Quran advises the exact opposite.
And this really gets to the heart of the tension, doesn't it? On one hand, you have our human desire for things to be set right, like right now. We want that instant vindication. But the divine plan described here works on a totally different schedule. It's one built on patience and the promise of perfectly timed, ordered justice.
And you see this theme all through the Quran. It's a call to trust that a resolution is absolutely guaranteed. There will be an accountant. But the real test of faith, the real challenge for us, is to let go of our own sense of timing and put our trust in a higher, divine wisdom.
Okay, so we've got the diagnosis and the prescription for patience. But then the tone of the passage just completely shifts. It gets really dramatic. We move from this place of quiet trust to a full-on description of the endgame, what we can call the great unraveling.
The verses build and build toward this one climactic moment, what's called the overwhelming event. This is it. This is the moment of reckoning. Whether that's a turning point in this world or the final day of resurrection, it's the point where God's timetable finally clicks into place. And the scale of this thing is just cosmic. The passage paints this picture of the earth and the sky themselves literally responding to God's will. The idea is to show that the very foundations the arrogant built their lives on, the physical world they thought was so stable, can be completely reordered just to enact divine justice. And the verses walk us through this unraveling, like an ordered public procession. It's not chaotic at all. First, the event kicks off. Then, the entire cosmos responds. After that, everyone is gathered up, not just the guilty people, but the very forces that were egging them on. And finally, they're driven in groups toward their destination. The image it creates is public, collective, and absolutely inescapable.
But the passage doesn't just end with the punishment. It wraps up with a final, really sharp commentary that brings the whole moral of the story into focus. It's this powerful, ironic twist.
So the passage closes with this powerful denunciation. On that day, it's announced that the people being led to their doom are the very same ones who, back in their lives, were just filled with arrogance, the ones who oppose the truth and look down on believers. And here is the profound irony. The very things they used as their measure of success, their pride, their social status, their rivalries, are exposed as completely hollow. In fact, their worldly arrogance becomes the very reason for their ultimate humiliation.
It's a total reversal of values.
So, let's just quickly wrap up what we've seen here. First, denial can become a self-reinforcing system, pushed along by this satanic incitement. Second, believers are told to respond with patient trust in God's timing. Third, divine justice is shown to be inevitable, public, and on a cosmic scale. And finally, all that worldly pride is shown to be completely meaningless when you judge it by the ultimate, divine standard.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If the measures of this world, status, power, rivalry, are ultimately revealed to be hollow, what does it truly mean to live a life and to measure our own success by a divine standard instead? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Peace be with you.